Am I audible? Good morning, everyone. My name is Yashwant. In many forms. This morning's session, we have a fantastic panelists, and this will be a very highly engaging and entertaining session because the topic we have is close to all our life, which is how do we make the applications of applications of nutraceuticals for optimal metabolic health. The main focus is how do we integrate the nutraceuticals into a balanced diet and more sustainable diet into our life. That's the main theme of today's discussion. With that note, I would like to start our first discussion, which is wellness is for the whole body, and wellness starts with food. Dr. Shridevi, would you like to, and you are the one who said this sentence to me earlier. What does this mean? And also, what's new in this space?
Hi everyone, good morning. First of all, thanks to the Livin'Up for giving the opportunity to share the stage with eminent experts in different fields. Wellness. I'm an Ayurveda doctor working in food industry, nutraceutical industry. Research, I like to say more about the research as a scientist. So I think the wellness from Ayurveda background, I want to mention a sloka from 3000 years back. It's a Sanskrit sloka. It defines the wellness. Samadhosha samagnisha samadhatu malakriya prasanna atma indriya manaha swastha ityavidiyate. So a healthy person, wellness for a healthy person. The healthy person is defined as samadosha, that is the pathologically well-being. Samadhatu is all the tissues are working functionally. Malakriya is excretory functions are good. And most importantly, in this definition, the first part of the sloka tells mostly about the disease and the well-being of pathologically well-being. But the second part of the sloka tells the prasanna atma indriya mana. Probably where mostly the wellness thinking is now being changed. That is prasanna atma. Atma is soul. Now I have to be healthy by soul. So that's why there is an introduction of faith treatment. And globally it is been very trending treatment, that is faith treatment. Treatment by using the faith of the individuals. So where the soul is involved in that. Soul is nothing but not atma as spiritually. It's all about the faith. Then manaha and indriya. Mana is mind, where the mental well-being comes, and the indriyas. Indriyas are sensory well-being. So all our sensory organs, especially like eyes, skin. That's why we are talking more about the skin health, eye health, hair health. So it's now we started understanding. Otherwise, we always talking about bits and parts of wellness, like gut health, gut wellness, and then metabolic health, and all are in bit and part. But it's always, wellness is always holistic. You need to improve all the things to be well. It's not a one portion you have to concentrate. You have to concentrate on all the parts of the well-being. So with this sloka, I can say that there is more and more researches going on how to integrate all these points and coming into as a overall approach, where there are, as I mentioned, there is a faith treatment, there is also sound treatment. There are also coming with a personalization, make it more approachable for customized products. And also the well-being approach, wellness approach is entirely changing. That's the major innovation that is happening as a research field is that people are looking in a diverse way instead of focusing on a certain point. Not only focusing on iron metabolism, not only focusing on the vitamin B12 metabolism or uptake. It's overall health, how to improve, and it is diversifying. So I think that will answer the question.
Thank you very much. I did say that the session would be highly engaging and entertaining. So the next question is for Suraj to make it entertaining for us. Suraj, everything we consume goes to the gut. I think we have been hearing a lot more about gut health from the last 5 years and before. What does this mean and why gut health is so important, and what is new which is happening in the prebiotics or probiotics or a combination, and how do we integrate all this into our balanced diet and how this can help our metabolism and immune health?
Yashwant, first of all, thank you for asking me this question because this is my expertise. Although I'm not from a nutrition background, I have been in the gut health field for about 6 years from now. So I myself had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, for 8 years. So I went to a lot of doctors and dietitians, but my problem was not getting solved. So someone suggested me that you got to try probiotics and prebiotics in your life. So I started using a probiotic product called Southport, and it solved my issue after 6 months of use. So I left my job. I was a mechanical engineer. I left my job, and then I started making and manufacturing this product. And gradually we have expanded to 30 plus products, and we have served about 20,000 plus customers with 82% repeat rate. So the thing is, I can only talk about probiotics. As Dr. Shridevi said, it's a holistic approach, but I can only talk about gut health. So the thing is, 70 to 80% of the immune cells are present in the intestine. So in the intestine, there are 3 major layers. That is the gut microbiota, which is the good bacteria of the probiotics. The second one is the epithelial layer. It's just like the skin. And the third one is the mucus layer. So what happens when bad bacteria increase in the stomach? First, initially, the mucus layer gets destroyed. Secondly, the epithelial layer will be destroyed because of the toxins that the bad bacteria produce. So when this happens, the immune response of the body drastically changes, and it becomes close to nil. So when the good bacteria's content is high and it's diverse, then what happens is the good bacteria connect with the epithelial layer, and there is a proper immune response. So when this happens, there are short chain fatty acids that are produced by the probiotics. So when short chain fatty acids are in good numbers, then they modulate the T and B cells, which are responsible for the immunity of the body. So when this happens, there is an equilibrium and there is a good balance in the immunity. So this is how probiotics will help in sustaining the immunity of the body. Coming to metabolism, there has not been too many researchers in this field, but there are certain clinical researchers where it says that when you use probiotics regularly, the triglycerides, bad cholesterol, and the blood sugar levels all are maintained properly. So this can be used to maintain diabetes and to reduce the excess body weight and in heart conditions also. So this is how probiotics can help in immunity and metabolism. So this is my take on this. And there are certain specific strains that you need to use, like Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus rhamnosus. Studies have been made on these strains. So these have proved effective. So I suggest you to use those strains in your diet. Thank you.
Thank you, Suraj. Now our elders were eating dal chawal and they never spoke about protein, but we hear protein so much these days. I'm very, very curious to ask this question to Dr. Pranesh. We need 60 to 80 gram of protein per day, depending on your body weight. Why do we need this protein, and what has changed from our grandfather to me that I need to now take proteins, and what does this mean for my metabolic health and immune health? And could you take us through, and also We're just having a very insightful discussion where we're just touching upon this plant protein, then there is animal protein. The new trend is it some microbial protein or algal protein? So please take us through what protein means for us and why it is so important.
Yeah, thanks for very interesting question actually, quite encompassing. Actually, we have been hearing having protein since ages, right? It's a macronutrient. One of the two major macros is protein and fats. And coming to the topic of the discussion today, which is metabolism and immunity. And interestingly, protein is a very, very important component of both these key aspects of our life. Many of us will be knowing that we as individuals, as human beings, in our body, there are more than 10,000 different types of proteins in our body. So it's basically you are made up of proteins. Now if your body is fully made up of proteins, right, significantly, and there is such a variety of proteins in your body, depending on where you are talking from your hair, which I don't have, till your leg, then you are really talking about replenishing that protein continuously, because body is using up that protein and replenishing that protein so that you are staying healthy, right? And that is where protein supplementation becomes very important. And yesterday during the deliberations, it was very clear that for Indians, protein is a small portion in the plate. It's not the main. But many of us who have traveled in other parts of the world will see that it's a main dish. The others are in the side, right? So that's a big transformation which is required, and I really beg to differ that 60 to 80 grams per day may not be really sufficient. If you really look at it, the global, in the developed world, it's close to about 120 milligrams per day, even up to 150 milligrams per day. And the definition of protein requirement also changes from, for example, about 8 grams per or 0.8 grams per kg per day to up to 2 grams per kg per day, depending on the activity levels of the person. So that's one side of the picture. And second is coming to the key question of metabolism. So if you are looking at metabolism, then there are various pathways, but the key pathway for a healthy lifestyle or body is the protein pathway, where protein ensures a very healthy basal metabolic rate. That means even if a person is at a resting level, so we call as REE in scientific terminology. So if you are even sleeping, there's some amount of energy which is being consumed, and that is what protein delivers. So, and for example, when a person intakes protein, when it's going through the digestive system right from the stomach till the small intestine, already about 30% of energy is consumed in the protein metabolism, while for example in fat metabolism it's somewhere around 0 to 5% and carbohydrate is around 10 to 15%. So the basal metabolic rate or a passive metabolic rate with protein is so high. That ensures that your body is consuming more of energy from protein than from carbohydrates, and that ensures a healthy metabolism than an unhealthy metabolism. That's a very key reason why we need to go towards protein, more protein in our diet. And coming to our population, Indian population, we all know there's a huge disease burden of diabetes and cardiovascular diseases, and increasing burden of cancer, oncological conditions. Now all these three have been related to protein. So a protein deficiency leads to increase in blood glucose levels. So glucohomeostasis is disturbed, gluconeogenesis is disturbed, and second, if your protein levels are less, the metabolism of fat in the body is also affected, which leads to fat accumulation, right? And third, when your protein levels are less, the free radical generation in the body is not controlled, and that leads to your oncological conditions cancer kind of conditions. So protein plays a very, very important role in metabolism as well as in immune health. So for example, if all of us know that if you get an infection, you get something like two things which fight in our body are antibodies and cytokines. Both are made up of proteins. So if you are deficient in proteins, you are not going to be having the antibodies to fight for you nor the cytokines to signal that antibodies to fight. So literally for the two key components of this discussion, which is metabolism and immune health, proteins play a very, very important role. And in that, there is a very significant change which is happening in the global landscape. One, from animal-based proteins to plant-based proteins. There is a sustainability angle to it that I leave it apart for another part of the discussion, but for this discussion, there is a growing body of research which shows that animal protein has a significant component of saturated fat coming along with it, which is not there in plant-based protein. So it also helps in a way to reduce your disease burden when you go away from or move from animal protein to plant-based protein. So that's a very important shift. Now coming to the second question is about the new sources of proteins, alternative proteins like fermented proteins or lab-grown meat, for example. They are at a very early stage, although there is some amount of commercialization which is happening in some parts of the world, like in Europe and particularly in Southeast Asia, and Singapore is quite taking a lead. But still, one thing which we have to understand and addressing the key question is, protein is for the masses. Everyone, if we have reduced the disease burden and have a healthy nation, we need to have everyone protein sufficient. May not be protein rich, but at least the population should be protein sufficient. For that, the protein should be affordable. And that is where plant proteins can be a bridge. So, your fermented proteins or lab-grown meat are still at a very high price levels and take some time. But currently, in the market, commercially, it would be between animal protein and plant proteins.
Can I just add on question to that? How, in terms of numbers, as Indian population, we are doing versus, let's say, the Western world in terms of our protein deficiency, or where do we stand?
So currently we are at, on an average, if you look at the global standard, we are at around 60% levels. So our per capita protein consumption is around 60% of the global average, so at the developed states. And that reflects in a lot of things. So we are trying to be an aspirational nation where many of things get reflected in, for example, sports, right? So that's another part of the discussion we're going to have later in the day. But it reflects in many such things like your health, burden, your performance at the global stage in sporting events. So overall, general health of the population goes up. Then your performance in various fields proportionately go up. So currently we are at around 60% level. Tentatively, some reports say 50%, some say 70%, but close to about 60% at the global standard level. So there is still a lot of catching up to do in terms of our per capita protein consumption.
So 1 second. So it is better to consume probiotics along with proteins, right?
Yeah, interestingly, so this is all, as she was telling, it's we need to really look at it holistically. So, while we as a nation are a carbo-rich nation, right? Yesterday there were a lot of deliberations on rice we have in everything, maybe more in South India. When you go towards north, it's more of, for example, wheat, right? And incidentally, I've been in this health industry for close to 30 years now. About 15 years back, there was a lot of noise around you should stop rice and take wheat, which is also not, I have my own reservations on that, right? So, we need actually, a balanced approach where, yes, if there is a deficiency in probiotics or the gut health is not good, your breakdown of the protein in the stomach is not going to be happening well, because the first breakdown from protein to peptides happens in the gut. Then the next breakdown from peptide to amino acid happens in the intestine. So there are two levels where your digestion happens. And the first level is where the stomach plays a role, and there the gut bacteria also play a role. Although our body has the pancreatic enzymes play a very important role in the breakdown of proteins to peptides in the gut. But along with that, the bacterial, the flora, micro and macroflora in the gut also play a very important role. So answering your question, yes, it's important, but I really look at it as more comprehensive. We really need to address all the pieces together.
Thank you. Dr. Shridevi, I have a 10-year-old son. The moment I say anything green, anything not tasty, he will run away. Anything nutraceutical, he will run away. It's very important that we make nutrition as part of a balanced diet. Make it very delicious, make it very sustainable in our life. And we've been talking about some case studies at your institute that you have done, not only in terms of developing products, and also make it part of people's life who cannot afford some of these products. Can you take us to some case studies that you have done that I would love to hear more about?
Yeah. The moment, as you mentioned, the moment we say nutraceutical in the form of capsules, people definitely run away. And also, there are set of people, two set of people. Always they go hand in hand. One set of people who want a tasty nutraceuticals, and there are set of people who are not bothered much about the taste, but mostly about the health benefits of nutraceuticals. And they don't want more ultra processed nutraceuticals where I can give an example of matcha here. It's globally a buzz about matcha. Matcha is not tasty. Definitely not tasty. And people are running behind it. That's the group of population, don't worry, bother about the taste. But there are a set of people, if you tell matcha, they'll run away. If I tell moringa powder, they'll run away. Now there comes the technologies like making it into a jelly or making it into a snack bars or a chocolate format, or maybe into now there is an innovation going beyond the spear technology of food technology, where you can spear the astringent and bitter principles into just like a boba tree, tea with the bubbles, boba tree, that what we call. So in that it becomes a bubble kind of thing, and those spears you can put it on anything based on the nutraceutical you want to. You want to use maybe vitamin A or vitamin C, vitamin B12, whatever that you want to encapsulate. You encapsulate into a spear form, and then you give it to the people to based on their choices. You are not asking them to use it in the certain format. You can use it with the drinks, you can use it with the food, whatever they want. You left the choice to them. So then you can cater both the categories. But yeah, it's always been two categories remaining as it is. But when we look into the group where they are not affordable, so then it becomes really difficult. Matcha is again technique. It's a nano conversion of the particle size. It's not micro, it's a nano conversion of particle size, which technology involves high cost. So now as a institute, as a researcher, we do outreach programs where we don't want to go beyond 2 rupees of any product. So our outreach is for non-beneficial things. So now we have done a tribal group study in Tamil Nadu for anemia control program, prevention of anemia. So we made a snack, anemia snack, where we used all herbal products. Now the base is, the iron source is coming from the green leafy vegetables, and also some of the antioxidants to enhance the absorption, because I'll let you know that we are using iron as a iron supplement which is in the metallic form, and probably the requirement per day by the body will not more than 2 to 5 mg. So, but we are overburdening the body with the over supplementation, because our understanding comes from only 5% of the iron will be uptaken in the body. So, with that understanding, we are overburdening the body. But we thought, why we have to overburden the body with iron? Because anything you eat is a foreign particle for the body. Especially all the nutraceuticals becomes foreign particle to the body, and it will try to disturb your metabolism. Now that I am giving a natural iron based on RDA and requirement, but I restrict, instead of going beyond the RDA, I am restricting the RDA and trying to make it more absorbable by adding antioxidant and adding the ingredient which are enhances the metabolism and bioassimilation. Now in that case, again we use the herbal sources which comes from the Ayurveda background, just like some of the spices and some antioxidant like amla and other thing. Now this snack has a very interesting thing, that it has been positioned as a non-food snack, like you should not have it the meal time. It should be apart from the meal time you have to consume, and it can be modified according to the geography throughout the India. You need not to stick on to only one green leafy vegetables. We have listed
Loyal customers, and we don't take requests from new customers. So basically, what we do is we ferment vegetables. That was how we started. So those vegetables, we make them probiotic, then we serve the customers. So our loyal customers started asking, you guys are making sauerkraut from cabbage. So cabbage, I don't like cabbage. So can you make it from beetroot? Can you make it from carrot? And one customer was like, can you mix all three and ferment them? And some customers are like, you ferment the products for 21 days. I want it for 30 days. We are like, how can we ferment for 30 days? It's actually not possible. But we found a solution for that. We reduce the temperature and then we reduce the salt content. So we can customize anything for our loyal customers. And then we tell them, see, we have to send this for testing because we don't know the safety of the product. Because this is the product only made for you. So we do the testing if we care about the customer. We do care about the customer. We do the testing and then we send the products. Apart from this, certain customers are like, you can mix 3 drinks and make 1 drink, right? So I was like, yeah, we can do it, but it will take time. So customers are open to try new things. Customers, if they trust the company, then they are open to try new things because we do care about this. So this is my take on this. I can talk about this for a long time. I have so many things in my mind, but due to the time, I have to stop.
You didn't get any request from a child asking, can you make sauerkraut in chocolate format?
Yeah, actually, we will make sauerkraut. We will add sauerkraut in chocolate, in dark chocolate, and we will release it because a lot of people are eating chocolate, dark chocolate, even if they are diabetic. So we are getting requests from customers saying probiotic in chocolate form. Let's do it. Already some people are doing it. Some companies are doing it. So we have probiotic gummies that certain people are doing, and we will also enter into that field. So that is
the other part is